Welcome to All Levels Yoga. Thanks for joining us. My name is Michelle Chua. We got a request from our live audience to release the lower back, neck, and shoulders. We'll integrate that into our grounding practice today. A little more information on grounding. I found an article from Australian Women's Health that to be grounded gives your energy a point of steadiness and you feel clear, centered, strong, and focused. Unfortunately, most people are unaware that they are ungrounded when they are and just carry on trying to survive each day. As a society, we are fast becoming disconnected from ourselves due to technology or being busy doing rather than being. That we have lost touch. Some people are thinkers, not feelers. So you are in your head more than you are in your body. Thinking about your feelings rather than actually feeling them. And if you're ungrounded, you may lack focus, be easily distracted, feel spacey, scattered, anxious, and be easily affected by what's going on and changing around you, especially other people's energy or mood. You may experience feeling physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually drained, or suffer from inflammation, poor sleep, chronic pain, fatigue, or poor circulation. I really wanted to get a little more into the definition and what it means to feel grounded. Yes, I talk about it a lot. Root to Rise Yoga by name is much about grounding ourselves so that we can feel a strong sense of stability in order to so-called rise in our well-being as well as our consciousness. So let's continue to explore more ways of grounding ourselves, feeling that sense of stability and truly being present in our bodies, being present in our hearts. I love this quote by Marshall Rosenberg, who is the creator of a style of communicating called nonviolent communication. He calls it a language of life. And he says that when we are in contact with our feelings and our needs, the needs behind feelings, we humans no longer make good slaves or underlings because we are connected to the truth in us. The mind, as we know, studying yoga and philosophy, can be delusional with perceptions and conditioning, or not maybe so strong as delusional, but we can see things from different angles and our bodies have the direct experience. So in grounding, we can be more clear of what's alive in us right now and truly address that. Another Rosenberg quote is that every criticism, judgment, diagnosis, and expression of anger and even violence is the tragic expression of an unmet need. And often because we don't truly understand what we need. It's the right here. Let's get into our bodies. Let's feel into whatever needs to be felt so that we can truly ground and be present. I invite you to sit with your two sitting bones anchored firmly onto a pillow, a block, or a flat floor. And then place your left hand on the center of your chest. Place your right hand onto the ground. And then, if it feels safe to, close your eyes and let your body become still. Observing what you feel physically, perhaps a vibration at your chest, even on the floor. Dive into any felt sense, which is a more metaphorical description, like tingling sensations and heaviness at the chest, a temperature change, perhaps ask yourself this question: what am I feeling right now? What am I needing right now? As we focus a bit on the Muladhara chakra, that of grounding, that of feeling supported, stable, connected. Bring your mind's eye to the area of this root chakra, which is at the very base of your spine, your pelvic floor. And if you're a visual learner, perhaps visualize the color red. Think of the earth element. Let's chant 3 ohms here, feeling the vibration as we touch the ground, touch our chest, visualize the pelvic floor. Take a deep inhale. And then place your right hand at your lower belly, just below your belly button. Taking slower breaths, inhale through your nose. Let out any sound that wants to come out as you exhale through your mouth. Take a few more breaths like that. And then as you close your lips, let's invite some warmth through the way that we're breathing. Just breathing through the nose, empty this breath. And now into your belly, inhale, expanding your belly. And then into your sides of your rib cage, inhale. And into the top of your chest, another inhale. Feel the fullness of your breath before you completely let it go out to your nose. Soft whisper by gently constricting the back of your throat. Once you've let the breath all go into your belly, inhale 1/3. Then into the sides of your rib cage, inhale 1/3. Then into the top of your chest, inhale completely. Once you've filled it up to the top, slowly let it go. Feel the bottom of the breath. And then try twice more of this Durga Pranayama 3-part breathing. 1/3 in breaths and 1 long out breath. As we slow down the breathing, we heighten our awareness. What's happening within our bodies right now. So now entering Ujjayi Pranayama, continue to slow your breath down and balance as slowly as you breathe in with as slowly as you breathe out, feeling a smooth transition between each. As you listen to the sound of gentle ocean waves rising and falling, as you softly constrict the back of your throat, tracking the quality of your breath through the sound that it creates. Stay aware of this sound, and let's begin to lower into child's pose, setting your feet together at the rear of your mat. Whether you want to have your knees together or apart, maybe even wide apart, do what allows you to sink your pelvis comfortably down to your feet. And let's extend the arms forward. Separate your hands at least shoulders width apart. Spread your fingers wide like roots of a tree grounding into the earth. And with your hands pushing the mat forward, draw your shoulders and hips backwards and feel the length of your spine. Releasing your head to rest on the ground. Maintain that even sound of your breathing as you close your lips. Keep your pelvis heavy, close to the earth, and then begin to crawl your hands to your right side so that you reach both of your hands outside of your mat. Feel your breath travel along the left side of your torso. And then crawl your hands through center and reach your left side, outside of your. Feel the lengthening down the right side of your torso. And then coming back through center, let's slither all the way down to our bellies in Sphinx pose, landing the elbows just slightly in front of your shoulders so that your forearms are parallel to each other and our shoulders width apart. Feel your ankles separated, just hips distance, and then actively point your toes so that you're lengthening your tailbone back towards the ground between your heels. Feel every toenail firming against your mat so that your knees are actually not touching the floor while your pelvis is heavily grounded. Take a few breaths, blossoming your collarbones wide and slightly lifting your sternum at the center of your chest while looking slightly down so that you honor the length in the back of your neck. Shoulder blades releasing down. Now keep your forearms still, but imagine as if you're dragging them back towards your hips. Feel the fronts of your shoulder bones release behind you and press downward. Take another breath. Keep the energy of your legs, feet grounding, and then lower your forehead. Crawl your fingertips outside of your mat, bending your elbows apart. And then release the shoulder blades further down your back as you breathe in to peel your chest off the ground. And then look behind you, roll that shoulder back. Inhale, look forward, open your chest again. Exhale, look through the other shoulder, roll it back. And then try that a few more times, just rotating the shoulder in isolation and softly turning your head side to side, or any other way that feels loosening for your neck. Breathing in, breathing out. Then slide your palms flat alongside your floating ribs, bending your elbows close to your side ribs. And take 2 to 3 breaths in Bhujangasana Cobra Pose, firming down through the tops of your feet and lengthening your heels back. On an exhale, press down through your hands and knees, tuck your toes, and lift your hips high, coming into downward facing dog. Now allow a few breaths if you choose to shift around, move organically first, or right away become still. Feel your body settle into this pose, grounding through your fingers spread, reaching your weight through the knuckles of your palms. Shoulders feeling light, lifted away from your neck as your skull drops heavily. See that your feet are parallel, at least hips width apart. Then as you lift your sitting bones high, perhaps bending the knees to do that, feel energy shift down through the backs of your legs, making your heels heavier, even if they don't touch the floor. Without moving your feet, imagine hugging your outer ankles closer together, more isometric, and firming your inner thighs further back. with your belly firming in, triceps rotating downward. Now let's become still as you steady your gaze on one spot. 3 more breaths. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Bending your knees, lift your heels and hips high, look beyond your fingertips. And at the end of your exhale, try holding your breath out while you walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat. Coming into a forward fold, feet apart, parallel your second toes, and then bend your knees at least a little bit. And as you crawl your fingertips forward to lengthen your spine parallel to the ground, notice if it's beneficial for you to use blocks underneath your hands. Let's take a few breaths here, knees slightly bent. Feel that your weight is a little heavier towards the balls of your feet. The front muscles of your thighs are engaged, lifting your kneecaps. And your front ribs are sealing inward towards your spine as you elongate your sternum forward. The shoulders glide back. Keep lengthening from your armpits to your outer hips. 2 more breaths. You're in Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Now bend your knees a bit more and bring your hands to your hips, pointing your elbows to the sky. Belly still firm, lead with your chest. And inhale, slowly rise up into mountain pose, Tadasana. Here we have a very grounding posture. So spread your toes, lift the inner and outer arches of your feet. Feel the fronts of your thighs, slightly lift your kneecaps. Release your arms down by your sides, palms facing forward, chin parallel to the earth. Glide it softly towards the back of your throat and lift through the back of your skull. Press into the ground through the 4 corners of each foot and feel the rise of energy up to help lengthen your crown to the sky. Feel your tailbone descend towards the earth between your heels. 2 more breaths in mountain pose. We're going to reference this posture in other poses. So can you feel these qualities here? As you press into the ground with your feet, inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Watch your palms meet, but keep your shoulders relaxed down. Hinge from your hips, perhaps bending your knees, and exhale to fold. Press your blocks to the floor, and inhale, lengthen your sternum forward into half forward fold. Plant your hands flat on the ground, and next, step into your version of plank pose, and let's pause for 3 to 5 breaths. Now imagine here, again, mountain pose. Though your body's horizontal, can you firm back to your heels unless your knees are on the ground supporting you? Lift your navel towards your back. Broaden your chest forward, looking on the ground ahead of your hands. Shoulders are right above your wrists. Coming down into Chaturanga Dandasana for your vinyasa. With an exhalation, glide forward as far as you can so that as you bend your elbows close to your side ribs, they pass through 90-degree bends before you lower your pelvis and point your toes on the mat. Breathe into Cobra, slide the shoulder blades down your back. Exhale, either press up through plank or from all fours, lifting your sitting bones high, draw your weight down the backs of your legs. Downward facing dog. Let's take 5 full breaths. On your 5th exhalation, empty the breath while you walk or float to the top of your mat. Breathe in, press with your fingertips to lengthen halfway. Breathe out to fold again. From down to your feet, and circle your arms as you rise. Gaze up, see your palms meet. Exhale, bring your arms down by your sides to mountain. Now let's flow more continuously through Sun Salutation A. Inhale, root to your feet, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Inhale, lift your chest and lengthen your spine forward. Plant your hands and step to plank. Otherwise, jump into Chaturanga Dandasana if that is part of your regular practice. This time, choose to lower into Cobra or into Upward Facing Dog, still firming down the tops of your feet. In Downward Facing Dog, take 3 to 5 breaths, steadying your gaze and your body. When you're ready, walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat and take one more Sun Salutation A at your own pace of breath. Let's meet in Downward Facing Dog. Arriving in Downward Dog, re-steady your breath. Lifting your right leg behind you, bend your right knee and turn open at your right hip. Take a few breaths here while equally keeping your shoulders facing down, head hanging. You might even like to rotate your right leg at the hip a few times. Slow, steady breaths. On your exhalation, round forward and softly land your right foot directly between your hands for Warrior Two. Spinning your left heel down, align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. Firming down feet, windmill your arms to rise up and center your spine upright between your ankles. Wrapping your right outer hip slightly underneath your body. Firm the top of your left thigh bone towards the right width of your mat. Steady your gaze just past your right hand and feel balance of energy in your body. Balance of effort, focus, strength, as well as ease. Warrior Two is definitely a grounding posture. Straighten your right leg. Let's prepare for triangle. You might want to shorten your stance 2 to 3 inches. Firm the front muscle of your right thigh. Slide your pelvis sideways towards the rear edge of your mat. Reach your right hand forward as far as you can before lowering it onto your right leg or just to the right of it, maybe on a block. As you raise your left arm, lift weight off of your right hand and see if you can spin your chest slightly to face the sky while releasing your 2 shoulders down your back. Lengthening your tailbone back towards your left heel. Steady your gaze. If it feels okay on your neck, look up past your left thumb, and let's take a few more breaths. Wrap your left outer upper arm to face your left wall. Sweep that left arm overhead towards your front wall. Take another breath in, look down at your right foot. Exhale through plank into Chaturanga. Taking your own vinyasa, we'll meet in Downward Facing Dog. Breathe in, breathe out. Then raise your left leg behind you, bend the knee, turn open at the hip, And let's take a few breaths here. If you like, you could circle your left thigh both directions. Feel that you're equally pressing down through both hands, equally lifting both shoulders back, both hips back. Then on an exhalation, round forward through plank, stepping your left foot lightly between your hands. Drop your right heel and align your left heel to the arch of your right foot. Warrior two. Windmill your arms to rise up. So as you center yourself tall between your ankles, steady your gaze just past your left hand. Feel your left outer hip as you firm the top of your mat. With your weight equal on both feet, lift from the base of your spine, the area of your root chakra or energy center, through your crown. Let's prepare for triangle pose. Straighten your left leg. You might shorten your stance 2 to 3 inches. Slide your pelvis sideways towards the rear edge of your mat and reach your left hand far forward before lowering it onto your leg or just to the left of your leg. If you raise your right arm, try to lighten the weight of your left hand. Keep rolling your left outer hip beneath. Turn your chest slightly towards the sky and slide your shoulder blades down your back ribs. Reach your tailbone back towards your right heel. Gaze steady, a few more breaths. Rotate your right outer upper arm to face your right wall. Sweep that arm overhead, take a deep breath, and look at your left foot. Lower into plank and either take a vinyasa or a few cat-cows. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a look at your right wrist and step your right foot a couple inches behind it. Spin your left heel down, straightening both legs. And then bring your hands to your hips. Just lift your spine halfway up as you scissor your right hip back, your left hip slightly forward so that they're squared. And then lower your fingertips to frame your right ankle. You might use blocks here. And then begin to fold, little by little, into pyramid pose. Ardhvanasana. So again, feel the equal weight through both of your feet. Think of slightly lifting your kneecaps by firming your quadriceps without locking your knees. Feel the full length of your spine and your breath while you open your throat. Adding a twist, lift your spine halfway up and either keep your left hand on the left side of your ankle, or to make it more challenging or a deeper twist, step your left hand to the right side of your right ankle. Use your right thumb to just slightly hook your right outer hip back to re-level your two hips while you lengthen your spine forward before you twist, turning your ribcage at your waist. Then eventually raise your right arm up. Revolved triangle pose. As you root down through both feet, spread your toes. Imagine that the soles of your feet could drink energy from the earth and enliven the muscles in your legs for support and stability. allowing your spine to lengthen, your arms to expand. Then set your two hands down again and step back to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Any sound, open your mouth. Ha. Now take a look at your left wrist. Step your left foot about 2 inches behind it. Spin your right heel down so your feet are hips width apart, your hips are facing forward, and your legs are straight. Bring your hands to your hips and lift your spine just parallel to the floor, scissoring left hip slightly back, balancing your two hips, lower your fingertips again to frame your left ankle. Breathe in, reach your sternum forward. Breathe out, hinge from your hips, little by little. Pressing down through both feet. Engage the front muscles of your thighs. Firm your outer hips towards your midline. Parsvottanasana. With an in-breath, lift your chest, come up halfway. Let's prepare for the twist. You can leave your right hand where it is, right under your right shoulder, or step it to the left side of your left foot. Using your left thumb, gently nudge your left outer hip back, realign your hips squared while lengthening your spine forward as you breathe in. Then steady your hips while turning to your left, turning your rib cage at your waist, and raise your left arm. Feel stability through your legs, rooting down through the soles of your feet, rebounding a rise of energy through your legs, supporting your spine as you twist. Parita Trikonasana. Take one more breath here. And lower your two hands. This time, step your right foot forward and bring both feet together to touch in a forward fold, top of your mat. Bend your knees together to touch, sinking your weight towards your heels as you sit a few breaths in chair pose. Raising your arms forward and up, relax your shoulders, gaze forward, and broaden your chest. Hug in your front ribs, draw your tailbone downward, and glide your shin bones back. One more inhalation in Utkatasana. With an exhale, bow forward. Press with your fingertips, inhale, lengthen forward. Step or float to Chaturanga if you're choosing to take a vinyasa. Eyes meet as straight and downward facing dog. In downward dog, inhale, raise your right leg, keep your hips level this time. And exhale, step your right foot just inside of your right hand. Spin your left heel down for one, and keep your hips facing forward as you rise. Now for a moment, place your hands on your hips. Feel the equal weight of both soles of your feet entirely grounded. Straighten your back leg and think of your inner left thigh slightly spinning towards your rear wall. So it brings your left outer hip forward. Keep doing that as you put your outer left heel into the ground and bend your right knee right on top of your right ankle. Notice if this causes your pelvis to spill forward, so add lifting your frontal hip bones and consciously directing your tailbone down. Then lift to your crown and then raise your arms again. Now let's steady the gaze on one spot. A few more breaths. Keep your spine long, legs grounded, hips squared. Lean your spine forward. Now you might bring your arms down by your sides, palms facing forward. Otherwise, if you want more rigor for your back muscles, keep your arms overhead. Entering Warrior 3. Now you could reach your hands onto the floor, a foot ahead of your right toes, maybe on blocks, or do hands free. Glide forward, Shift your weight entirely onto your right foot and flex your left foot as soon as it comes off the floor. Feel your two hips squared, your navel drawing in. Find the qualities of mountain pose. Lengthen your sternum forward. Press your left heel back. Feel solid through your standing head. Virabhadrasana 3. Warrior 3. Now keep your weight on your right foot. Put a little bend in your right knee and start to rise up to just stand on your right leg. Catch hold of your left shin or your left thigh and flex your left foot. Feel the bowl shape of your pelvis rebalance as you hug in your navel and lift up to your crown. Nice. Now bending your right knee, turn out your left thigh and wrap your left leg over your right, flexing the left toes, join your hands in prayer, or tucking your left toes behind your right calf. Then scissoring your left hip slightly back. Sit low as you can as we prepare for eagle pose. Now the arms. Bend your elbows apart, then cross your right elbow over the left. Either hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms in palms. Relax your shoulders down. Level your elbows to the height of your shoulders and steady your gaze for a few more breaths. Allow this challenge of balancing to bring focus and presence. Feel the ground that supports you. Entering half moon, unravel your hands so your right hand reaches for a block or the floor. Left hand can be on your left hip here. Unravel your left leg parallel to the floor as if returning to warrior 3. But as you lower your right hand, upper right corner from your right pinky toe. Your left foot, turn your chest to face your left wall. You might eventually raise your left arm and you're in half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. And eventually land to the rear, warrior 2. And bend your left knee to your belly. Take hold of the top of your left foot with your. Think of a bow and arrow as you kick your left leg sideways towards straight. Your glutes, using the contrast to help open the inner left shoulder while staying strong in your center, belly in. If you are bending your left knee in this pose, make sure it's not pointing up towards the ceiling. It's pointing back towards your rear wall. And then you decide when you're ready to land warrior 2, be mindful of the transition. Stepping back as slowly as you can, as lightly as you can. When you arrive, your right palm to face up and keep your right knee bent. Sweep your right arm overhead and lean sideways towards the rear edge of your mat in peaceful or exalted warrior. Breathe in. Feel your breath out. And on your next exhale, cartwheel your hands to the ground, optional vinyasa. Small child pose. What are you feeling right now that you need to respond to? Trace your breath into your belly, your side ribs, your chest. Feel your exhale completely empty. From downward dog, inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Slowly step your left foot just inside of your left hand, spinning your right heel down. Keep your hips facing forward as you rise into warrior 1. Now for a moment, place your hands on your hips and completely straighten your right leg. Press your right outer heel into the ground while spinning your inner right thigh slightly towards the wall behind you, causing your right outer hip to slightly come forward. Keep doing that as you bend your left knee right on top of your ankle, drawing the thigh bone back into the hip socket. Feel the bowl shape of your pelvis upright, spine tall. Then re-raise your arms and let's hold still with focus. Steady your gaze. Now from here, as we tilt the torso forward, you could release your arms down by your sides, palms facing forward. But if you want more rigor into the back muscles, keep your arms up and just hover your belly off your left thigh in Degasana, a preparation for Warrior 3. Now, when you're ready, shift your weight entirely onto your left foot. You could modify by reaching for the ground or your blocks with your hands, a foot in front of your left foot. Or keep your hands off the floor. Flex your right foot either way. Elongate your sternum forward. And feel as though you are in mountain pose in this horizontal shape. Spiral your inner right thigh towards the sky and draw your left outer hip back. Play with variations with your arms if you like. A few more breaths. Now bending your left knee, begin to rise up to stand on your left leg. Catch hold of your right shin or thigh and pause here as you re-stabilize, re-ground. Feel the center line of your body. Turn out your right leg and bend your left knee. Wrap your right leg over the left, maybe tucking the toes behind the calf, well, you'll probably need to scissor your right hip slightly back. Sit as low as you can as it will help stabilize. Then the arms. Bend your elbows apart. Cross your left elbow over the right. Hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms. Soften your shoulders down. Elbows level to the height of your shoulders. Breathe in. Breathe out. Garudasana. As we transition into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon, flex your right foot as you unravel your right leg back towards Warrior 3. Right hand could be on right hip to help you transition. As you look down, lower your left fingertips, upper left corner from your left pinky toe, about 6 inches forward. Turn your chest completely, face your right wall. Notice that your left knee and middle toe haven't changed orientation. You're still facing forward. You might choose to raise your right arm if your balance feels pretty stable. Can you feel mountain pose from the top of your head, tailbone to right heel? And even in your standing leg. Now we're going to land in Warrior 2 whenever you feel ready, but take your time. If you want to play with Chapasana, bend your right knee towards your belly, catch the top of your right foot with your right hand, and as you kick your right leg towards straight, pull the foot towards your glute and open the right side of your chest. With belly firm, breath steady. And as you feel ready, take your time landing in Virabhadrasana 2. Stepping your right foot towards the rear of your mat, heel to arch, arms open. When you do arrive in Warrior 2, flip your left palm to face up, sweep it overhead as you lean towards the rear wall in peaceful or exalted warrior. With an exhale, cartwheel your hands to the ground, optional vinyasa, or meet us straight in downward facing dog. Lion's breath. Take a deep inhale, fill up your belly and lungs, and then open your mouth and eyes wide, stick out your tongue and just let it go. Ha! Try again. Inhale deeply, fill up everything. As you open your eyes wide, you might cross them as the traditional pranayama. Then step your feet apart wider than your hips distance in downward dog. Walk your hands back towards your feet. I'm going to face you here. And then turn out your thighs, turn out your knees and feet, coming into malasana or some version of a squat. Now you could sit all the way on the ground if that's more accessible for you and splay your heels wider apart like this. But if it feels pretty natural, depends on your body or how you're feeling today, let your pelvis hover off the floor. Think of rooting down through your feet, let your pelvis sink towards the earth, but rising up from your pelvic floor, your heart to your crown. And then with your arms, perhaps using your elbows, open your inner thighs. Lift your chest as you join your hands in prayer, softening your shoulders back and down. Now you choose whether to stay here and use this as a grounding posture to return to slow breaths, or add a spinal twist. If the latter, cross your right arm in front of your right thigh, raise your left arm, and turn your chest towards the sky. Optional to wrap your left arm behind you, maybe both arms so they clasp. And if you're twisting with an exhalation, unwind, recenter your spine, then switch sides, left arm in front of left thigh, right arm to the sky, twist. Perhaps half bind with the right arm behind you, or full bind, clasping your hands. Feel your tailbone seek the earth as your heart rises towards the sky. And as you exhale, unwind, and let's find a comfortable way to sit for Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. So if anybody who's watching us, when I do ask you to hold your breath, if you happen to be pregnant, do not hold your breath in any of the pranayamas. So sit tall, relaxed. Place your left hand on your lap. Bring your thumb and first finger to touch. And with right hand, stick out your thumb, pinky, and ring finger, closing your lips. Sustain your breath softly and slowly through your nose. Exhale this breath out. Hold the breath out. Cover your right nostril with your right thumb. Inhale to your left. Slowly. Hold your breath in. Last two fingers cover left nostril. Exhale to your right. Slowly and softly. Hold your breath out. Then inhale to your right. Hold it in. Cover the right with your thumb. Exhale softly to your left. Hold it out. Inhale to left. Hold it in. Cover left. Exhale to right. Keep going on your own pace. finish this last breath you're on, and then release both hands in your lap. And just sit with how you're feeling now at this point of your practice. So I'm going to invite you to set up for Shavasana in Supta Baddha Konasana, supine-bound angle pose. And it's done with your 2 feet together, your knees bent apart. And if you feel that your thighs are lifting uncomfortably away from the floor, grab your 2 blocks or anything like that and place them on under your outer thighs. And then lower your spine all the way down. Now, if you have a blanket, I highly advise you to place that on your pelvis, as that will help to feel stability, soothing, nurturing, grounding. And then once you're down there, decide how you want to place your arms, either palms face up, slightly away from your torso, or left hand to the center of your chest, right hand just below your belly button. I can also feel grounding. And then close your eyes once you're there. Take a long inhalation. Hold the breath in for a few seconds before you completely let it go. As your body remains still here and you continue to breathe naturally, consider joining us for the remaining 5 minutes to sit silently in your chosen way of meditation. If you will join, then allow your body to start to move, easing into simple stretches, perhaps keeping your eyes closed, nurturing this connection to your inner space. Gradually lifting your body upright. Place it to sit in a way that you feel alert and relaxed for you. I'm going to set the timer now for 5 minutes. For those of you who might be new to meditating, I invite you to feel the waves of your breath. Steady your attention on the waves of your breath. And if your attention wanders into a thought, when you notice that happens, see if you can just let go and come back to feeling the waves of your breath. As many times as you need to. join your palms to meet at your heart center as you lift your heart and bow in to greet what's there. We consciously infuse ways of grounding ourselves and knowing when we're needing to ground throughout our days. Let's close our practice, chanting one Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste. So quick announcement, starting tomorrow, Thursday nights at 6 p.m., December 3, 10, and 17, we have our Tools for Clarity workshop online, live, and tomorrow's theme is going to dive deeper into practical ways to ground, as well as align ourselves with our core values. So we're going to take the Muladhara Energy Center as the focus of our yoga part and meditation, but we'll also have conversation and journaling as part of the workshop. Join us. I'll put a link